ahead and get started. If you're
Okay.
ready.
Yeah.
Cool. So just want to thank everybody for joining us here on Diversity Chats. We bridge the gaps of diversity and destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. Today I have a guest with me. Guest, if you could please share your name and what you're up to in the world.
So my name is Souher, and hi, Carlos. Shout out to Carlos. What I'm up to in the world is I live in Bakersfield, California. I am a social worker, and I try to be involved as much as I possibly can with the people and groups around me, to stay engaged and to just have community. So I guess that's what I'm up to in the world.
Well, that's quite a lot to be up to in the world these days. So thank you for introducing yourself. What are some of the groups you're part of? Like, what are, not necessarily like right now, but like, what are your interests? What do you do, even if you're not part of a group? What are you doing in your chill time?
My chill time? So, I love going on walks with my dog, Charlie. Some other interests are just going back home to see my family. I guess it's weird during COVID because there's things that I would normally do that I have not been able to do. So at the beginning of the year and last year, like I was part of like an improv class, like doing improv.
Yeah.
So that's something. And then when COVID happened, like they stopped that. So can't do that anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of just, being involved at church and just trying to beat the pandemic, I guess.
Wow, improv, you got to share more. Why do you do that? Like, what draws you to improv? And like, how long have you been doing that?
So I grew up doing like theater, when I was younger, in like elementary school, junior high school, and in college. So I love theater. And improv is different because it's more like it's more challenging than theater. Because in theater, you can memorize lines, you memorize what you have to say, what you have to do, where you go, everything, songs, everything's rehearsed. And so for me, I'm very, like, when it comes to, like, theater, I'm, like, pretty, comfortable with being on stage. But with improv, it's different. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what the other person's going to say, and you have to play off of that and build a scene and like be in character. So it's really different. So, but it was a good challenge for me. So that's why I did improv.
That's cool. This is improv.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us know what we're going to be talking about. So I hope that makes you comfortable. But you're a specialist, so this is your lane now. Like, been doing improv, and now here we are. I have taken like improv-ish kind of class because like a couple years ago, I went to one of my friend's writers groups, and different people who write scripts, they have you act out their script. And it was crazy because like I like writing and stuff, but sometimes, as an artist, you can like self-doubt or whatever. I don't know, like for you with performing arts, if you ever think like, oh, I'm not good enough or anything like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I wrote this idea came to me. I remember writing it down. I think, oh, it's crazy. Well, like a year or so later, I go to this writing group and I act out a very, very closely, almost exact script to like I wrote out. It was crazy. It was like God was telling me, don't doubt, what I give you. That was just wild. But it was fun to act it out too. So I was told I did a good job. I go in and out of character anyways throughout life, so I have a place to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Was that place here in Bakersfield?
Yeah. It's called Empire Improv. So the teacher, he used to teach at different, I think he taught in Seattle and in New York, and he came to Bakersfield because I think he's originally from here, and decided he wanted to open up his own improv theater. So,
Wow, I love that. That's really cool. I think it's a lot of courage to do things like that. I could see someone looking at you doing, like a play and think, oh, that takes a lot of courage. But then here you are acting. You've done acting, and then you're still like kind of nervous about doing some different version of that. So that's really cool. But I think it's good. It keeps you on your toes. Go ahead.
Yeah, it really does. It's so different. You just don't know what's going to happen when you're on stage. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such is life.
Exactly. And yeah, it taught me, like, in certain situations in life, you don't know what's going to happen, and just, you just kind of have to respond to it and, like, just go with it. So yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that helps in your industry too. So how about this? Can you share your age with us, or range if you don't want to be exact?
A woman never tells her age. I'm just kidding. No. I'm cool with it. I'm 27.
Cool. That was the number in my head. I think that sounds weird, but I guess like when I know someone's thinking of a number, or they're going to say a number, I try to guess what that number is. I did it. I got it. But anyway. And then I would like to know if you would share with the people which ethnic group you identify as.
Ethnic group? So I'm half Nicaraguan. So I guess you could say Latina. And then I'm half Jordanian, so Middle Eastern.
Very cool. My geography sucks, even though I love maps and have a globe in my living room. Where's Georgia? Is that where you said Georgia?
Jordan.
See? I'm so great at this. Where is that?
Jordan's in the Middle East.
Like, where?
Gosh, it's kind of near, okay, this is going to sound really bad, but it's like the continent of Africa, I think. If I'm wrong, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. But it's like the Middle East, surrounding countries, Israel, Syria, Lebanon, trying to think what other countries, Iraq, like the Middle East,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a term that's used that holds so much like culture and so much that it's kind of like, just to say like Middle East sounds like so like, but there's like, it has to have like more because there's so much beautiful stuff over there. So that's what I was asking you, because I was curious like where it was. When you said Jordan, I actually should know that, because I think that might be on one of my maps in here. But anyways, so what is it like for you, like having that fantastical blend of culture? Was it in your household, like, or was it just like just regular American culture, or was it very noticeable that there was like different culture and vibe going on in your house versus your friend's house growing up?
Yeah, I mean, so my mom is from Nicaragua and my dad is from Jordan. Mm-hmm. Growing up, so I grew up in Barstow, where I'm from, so that's like the high desert, and I didn't have a lot of like Spanish speaking relatives, but I did have a lot of like my uncles grew up around me, and I also had a lot of Middle Eastern friends growing up around me. So I definitely was able to like be more exposed to Arab culture and Middle Eastern culture. And like a lot of my mom's side of the family, all of my Spanish speaking cousins, they are from LA. So we would travel to LA a lot to go visit family members, you know, have parties and all of that. But a lot of my, you know, in Barstow was being exposed to like Arab culture. And like, I guess in the household, it was more of my mom and dad like trying to make it work versus, oh, this is what we do in the Arabic culture. Because, I mean, they're from two different cultures. And so, yeah.
It was just like a happy blend of like mutual respect to adopt different things from each other's culture. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but I will say this. So my mom assimilated to the Arabic culture. So she was like close to my grandma, and my grandma would teach her how to make all Arabic foods. And my mom really wanted to like learn the Arab culture, learn the customs. So it was more, I would say more of my Arab side is like was pushed in my family because my mom really wanted to, you know, make sure my dad had like Arabic food, and she learned a lot from my grandma. She even learned Arabic, and she learned, you know, towards the end of my grandma's life, she took care of her. So, and like we would have a lot of friends in Barstow that were, you know, from the Arabic culture that my mom made friends with, and they're still really good friends to this day. And one of my best friends, she's actually like I grew up with her. She comes from a Muslim family, and so we just kind of all grew up together. So that's how we were kind of exposed, because I didn't have a lot of Arabic cousins my age growing up. So family in where I'm from, like we didn't have a lot of like family cousins like close my age growing up. So it was a lot of like outside people that we would hang out with where I would get that exposure. And then like from my mom's side, we would come to LA like, you know, 3 to 4 times a year and just hang out with her side of the family. Yeah.
Cool.
So like a lot of it too is like, you know, assimilating to Arab culture, to American culture too, like growing up, having friends, you know, doing school, doing different like activities involved. So it's like, you know, I know like the American culture, the Arabic culture, and the Hispanic culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
You know, I see pros and cons in all three. Like, I don't think one culture is superior to the other. But I do associate and is more familiar with Arab culture, I would say. And I guess American culture. American, whatever that means, you know, like, right. I guess normative culture of the United States.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Nicaragua or the Jordan?
I've never been to Nicaragua, but I have been to Jordan. And, man, I should have shared this in the group on Wednesday. But one of my cherished memories was going to Jordan, because I went to Jordan when I was 6. And so, yeah, that was a really good, and I still remember it to this day. Like, I remember everything, loving going there, seeing family, going to different historic places. We went to Israel, we went to Bethlehem, we went to, like, different, like, Petra, that's in Jordan, that's, like, a big old stone thing, and, like, big churches, everything. So it was really cool going there. Like, I loved it.
Wow, that's cool. And it's so crazy, like, my brain does weird things. So, you know how I said Georgia instead of Jordan?
Yeah.
Now I'm start saying, I'm like, oh, like the Jordan River, like in the Bible.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Jordan River. We went to the Dead Sea. And like,
go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if you've heard of the Dead Sea. Do you know what the Dead Sea is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will never forget my traumatic experience at the Dead Sea. So I have really bad eczema, and I've had really bad eczema since I was young. And for some reason, I don't know why, but my parents thought it was a good idea for me to have to put the water from the Dead Sea on my legs, because it's like it's salty. Like there's no like fish that live in there. It's so like salty. I don't know why. I guess that's why they call it the Dead Sea, because there's nothing living in there.
Yeah.
And so I just remember my legs getting so dry and so like it burned. Like I just remember it burning, and I was like crying, and they had to get like bottles of water and like put it on my legs. I was like, what are you guys doing? Like it was horrible. Like
they were expecting a miracle, it sounds like. Like,
it sounds like
flame, rub it on my daughter.
I have no idea. It was the weirdest thing.
Oh man, that would be so cool. I want to go to Israel one day. So that's really, I think that's cool that you've been out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard like, yeah, it's dead because nothing's moving, so that's why nothing's like alive or whatever. But that's pretty funny. Yeah, so I just a sidebar. What is it called? You're an actress, so like, what is it called when you go past the third wall, or what is it called when you talk to the audience?
Breaking the third wall.
Breaking the third wall. Just so y'all know, she did mention Wednesday's meeting that we were part of the same small group through our church. So one of the conversation was kind of like a very significant time in your life, very memorable. That's what she shared. Okay, so that's really cool though. I would love to go there. What was like one of your highlights there? That sounds like a tragedy, or a tragic experience. But like, what was like a really positive, like exciting thing that you experienced there?
Like meeting all of my family members, like my Arab side of the family members. It was like spending time with my cousins, and just smoking hookah when I was 5 years old.
I don't even know right now.
No. So it's like a common thing. Like at least when I was there, it was normal. Like there was like kids smoking like hookah, and like I only like did it like once or twice, but they would allow me to smoke hookah. Like it was just, like that's just what it was. And so I tell people, oh yeah, like I was smoking hookah like 5 years old, and they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, that's like what happens in Jordan. Like I had a younger cousin who was like 3 smoking hookah. Like that's how like they just is normalized over there. So, but I mean, I don't smoke hookah now. I mean, I don't smoke hookah, but it's it's funny. But I mean, on a serious note, like just seeing my family, like learning the like being in the culture, the busyness of the street, just, I mean, it's just vibrant. I loved it. It.
That's cool. What did it feel like to be surrounded by people that maybe they looked a little bit more like you? Did you acknowledge that as a kid? Like there was
Yeah. So it was cool seeing like people who like, looked like me, but I also felt an outsider because I don't know Arabic fully. So it's like we're from different cultures. So it's also like, I mean, I'm from the United States and they're from Jordan. It's like a different type of mentality. And so it's nice to see someone look like you, but I really, like, I'm not 100% like knowing your culture and knowing the language. So, but yeah, I mean, but one thing too, like, you know, growing up, nobody could ever pronounce my name right. Like, and the way it's spelled is not the way it's pronounced. So I remember, like, I had to go to the doctor when I was over there. And the doctor, like, said my name perfectly in an Arabic accent. And I was just so happy because this is the first time an adult has said my name, like, correctly with, you know, like, that's not a family member or a friend. And I was just like, I was just like relieved. I was like, oh, they know me, like, they know how to say my name. So it's nice. It was a memory I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love little things like that mean so much to us. Just like this guy has no idea.
Yeah.
Just saying it right, but it just meant so much to you.
Yeah.
I love that. Being that my name is LaQuisha, when someone actually says it right, I feel like, bless you. I don't have that awkward conversation about like, oh, actually it's LaQuisha. They just said it, and I feel like, you know, good about that, so I can relate.
Yeah.
Do you want to share any Arabic with us, like hello?
Yeah. So Arabic is marhaba, and then marhaba, like a little R roll, marhaba.
Oh, marhaba.
Yeah.
Got you, marhaba.
Marhaba. And then how are you is kif halik.
Kif halik?
Yeah.
Okay, kif halik. How are you? And then how do
You
you respond?
you could say ana mabsut or kwayis.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember that. But this is recorded, and so I get to practice.
Oh. Okay.
One of the things I know is hold on. Is hi baby?
Yeah. That's like baby or sweetie.
Yeah. I like that one. That one's cute.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I know that it's getting close to our time. Hold on. Yeah. But I feel like we didn't even really say anything. Do you feel like you said everything? What's something about your Nicaraguan, I don't think I'm saying that right, I apologize, culture that you really like cherish? Like, do you want to go there to Nicaragua?
I do. I would like to go visit there, in Nicaragua. The thing is, like, with my Nicaraguan side, I've never been to the country, and there's a lot that I don't really know about the culture itself. I know it's very similar. I mean, it's not similar, but it's, you know, I grew up with a lot of like other Hispanic people around, so it's like kind of similar, like Hispanic culture in general. So that's like what more I'm familiar with. But yeah, like when I'm spending time with my family, there's a lot of women in my family, so they like love to spend time together, and my mom is always wanting to go see her family in LA. And so it's very like close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's like a sweet that y'all have? Like, I know you say your mom mostly cooks like more on the Arabic side, but like, what's a sweet from Nicaragua? I don't roll R. I'm sorry, but what's a sweet from there? Like a treat that people eat, you know?
A Nicaraguan treat? Oh, I know. So there's a drink. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It kind of went down. I don't know. Okay. A drink that they have is oh gosh. It's kind of like horchata, but it's not. Oh, I'm blanking on the name. Cacao. Cacao. It's like really. What?
Is that like saying cocoa?
I think so, yeah. It's like made of like some type of bean, and it's kind of like horchata, but it's more chocolatey and sweet. So I love cacao. And then we have like rice pudding, you know. But sweets, I mean, so if you want to talk about food, Nicaraguan tamales are the bomb.dizzlecom. So it's called Naca tamales, and they're huge. They're bigger than Mexican tamales. They're like pretty hefty, and they're made out of banana leaves. So it's bigger, and it's packed with like pork, potatoes, and just wrapped in like it's way more moist than like a regular like Hispanic Mexican tamale. It's very moist, and it's delicious. And my aunt makes them like every year for Christmas. So that's kind of our tradition. So for Christmas, my aunt will either come to our home in the high desert, or we'll go to LA and like eat tamales with them. So that's like a tradition that we have with the Nicaraguan as far as my family over there. But yeah, so good. I always rave about Nicaraguan tamales.
Oh, I gotta try. Oh my goodness. I've never been to like any restaurants that are Nicaraguan.
I don't think they have any in Bakersfield. They have some in like LA area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even out there, I haven't been. I'm gonna have to go. You got a recommendation for LA for a restaurant like that?
I know that there's this place over by Azusa. I don't know what it's called, but they sell Nicaraguan food, and it's really good. I don't remember what it's called or where it's at, but I've been there, I think, a couple times. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I think I just have to go to your aunt's house, basically, and just show up like, Merry Christmas, everybody. I just want one tamale. That's all I'm here for.
I actually just found out about like a tradition that they do for Christmas. And I had no idea. I think it was more of a Catholic thing, but they go to somebody's house, and they a lot of people will like pick a house, they'll go there, and that person has to like give presents to everyone. I mean, I don't know what it's called, but I just found out about that tradition when it comes to Christmas, but we don't do that. Like, I've never done that. I only did that last year when I went to another lady. She's from Nicaragua, and that's a specific Nicaraguan thing. So I had no idea about that. But my family never, we don't do that. So it's pretty interesting.
That sounds expensive, but very cool.
I know. I think they give out like fruits and like, stuff like that, not like anything crazy like gifts.
Yeah.
I know that's what I said too. I was like, that does sound expensive.
Everybody gets an iPad. Like, dang, I don't want to.
You get a car.
Everybody. That's funny though. That's cool. I'm glad you're finding out more about your culture. I think that's really dope, and I'm a little jealous you have like so many cool cultures to pull from. But thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself with us today. And I'm gonna do my closing. And then if you have any closing thoughts or encouragement, I do hope that you'd share it with us. Breaking the third wall. Saying thank you guys for joining us here on Diversity Chat. We bridge the gaps to diversity and destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. Thank you to my guests in there. And my name is Laquisha. I forget to tell you guys that. But we just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And then, Sarah, do you have anything that you'd like to share at the end here?
I mean, just keep learning. I love this. I think this is a great thing, diversity chats, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Well, thank you for adding your voice to this conversation, and we hope to see you guys around. God bless you, Souher. I'll see you around.
Bye, LaQuisha. Thank you.